Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, we got a juicy update, mostly regarding Ripple and XRP. So if you guys are XRP holders, make sure you press that like button. And also for future reference, let me know down below which crypto we have to talk about next. We've been talking about XRP a whole lot. I want to talk about one other crypto. So which one should it be? Let me know down below. Now to get straight into it, some interesting things have happened. Couple of hours ago, about 20 hours ago or so, this came out in the library and the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. First of all, in the library, John Deaton basically came on in, and it's nothing more than just trying to get John Deaton into that specific lawsuit to try help out. It's as simple as that. Now, what is interesting, I think, is regarding the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, because some update was just given about 30 minutes ago, which is the main reason that I decided to come on out and give you guys a full-fledged update, as things are a lot more interesting than might meet the eye. So about 21 hours ago, the parties, both of them, filed for a joint motion for an extension of time until January 13th to file the Daubert motions and accompanying exhibits on the public docket with redactions consistent with the court's December 19th sealing ruling. It's a whole mouthful, but it comes down to them both just wanting a little bit of extra time for something, in my opinion, not that important, but it's regarding the Daubert challenges. We talked about it before. All it basically includes is just, hey, there's a holiday coming up, give us a little bit more time. Yeah, it's not that big a deal, right? Well, the motion was granted anyway, so even if we thought it was a big deal, there's no way to turn it back. Things are going to take a little bit longer on that front, but you have to understand, this is not the main decision for the judge. This is not the most important decision for the judge anyway. The main summary judgment piece, well, that's still ongoing. And let's just quickly cover, I guess to the fullest extent that we can, exactly what we're waiting for right now and what the schedule is looking like as of this moment. So make sure, guys, that you press that like button. The parties have fully briefed the motions for a summary judgment, including the oppositions and the replies. There are sealing disputes, which again, the only thing that we're waiting for, in my own opinion, that's very important, is the judge's decision, mostly from Ripple side, I guess, and well, even the SEC side, regarding what things need to be hidden away. And once that's figured out, we're going into the most important decision from the judge in the whole lawsuit. So again, the only thing in our way is still figuring out what exactly should be made public and which things should be kept behind closed doors. But I've read from a couple of lawyers that a couple of these parts can actually be decided during or kinda after the judge makes a judgment on the main matter, as she might literally point out to things to say, hey, this I used for my judgment, this I used for my judgment, this I used for my judgment, so those need to become public. All these other little pieces I didn't use, so they can stay hidden. All right. They are sealing disputes in connection with this motions for summary judgment, but we don't know whether those disputes will be resolved before or at the time of the decision on the motions. The motions to exclude expert testimony, Daubert challenges, are fully briefed and remain pending. So the only thing that we're waiting for right now is, again, some sealing regarding those. District Judge Torres ruled on the disputes regarding the sealing of these motions. Expert reports and deposition transcripts on December 19th. Again, if you guys don't remember, that was this right here. Judge Torres issues order on the party's motion to seal documents in connection with the expert challenges, and then all that came afterwards was a little bit of a delay. Now, the remaining schedule is as follows. The motions for summary judgment, boom, fully over with. The end of the lawsuit phase, the last phase in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is basically over. It's been fully briefed, and all we're waiting for is a judge decision. The motions to exclude expert testimony. Expert testimony was basically, so the summary judgment was just like basically Ripple's arguments versus the SEC's arguments regarding why they should win, right? The expert testimony is basically them going towards experts and asking them what they think. For some reason, one party might say that the other's experts were not qualified, yada, yada, yada. So you might not want to have them actually give their professional opinion because it's kind of garbage. Also fully briefed and awaiting a decision from the judge. December 22nd, so that is tomorrow in a couple of hours, parties have to file an omnibus motions to seal all material relating to this summary judgment, Rule 56.1 statements and counter statements, declarations and supporting exhibits, so basically everything surrounding the summary judgment. Parties must also file proposed redactions to those materials at that time. So these redactions basically are those black lines in the middle of your document where things are kind of hidden away. Again, sealing in practical terms basically also means hiding things away. Then a couple days later on January 4th, things start to move really fast right now because we're almost in 2023 already. It's also almost my birthday, fun fact. January 4th, any non-parties must file a motion to seal any summary judgment materials, to the extent the non-party seeks additional or different sealing treatment or redactions than requested by the parties. If no motion to seal is received by January 4th, 2023, the non-party waives their right to object to the court's ultimate ruling on the party's motions to seal or redact the summary judgment materials. As far as I understand, this is all these amnesty, for example, that all have to file their own little piece, because I believe that is what's referred to as non-party, all the other ones except for Ripple and the SEC, basically. A couple days later, the parties filed their opposition to their earlier omnibus motions to seal that we are basically having tomorrow. So again, the whole last part of the last part is happening right now, which is all regarding sealing issues. Again, we're just waiting for the judge to make the decisions. You can see those, right there, basically. Those are the two ones that we're waiting for the judge to make a decision on. And then the other part, like right here, this, it's not a, yeah, it's not a PDF, it's a picture. But the December 22nd and all the January 4th and all that stuff is just the last dialogue regarding sealing issues. The 9th of January, we're going to get a response, basically. So where Ripple responds to the SEC side of things and the SEC responds to Ripple side of things. Then a couple days later, the parties must file Daubert motions and accompanying exhibits on the public docket with redactions consistent with the court's 19th December order. Again, that's just been extended, basically. So they filed their Daubert motions and they basically just now hide the proper things that were discussed before and now concluded with a little black marker. And then a couple days later, all parties and non-parties must file oppositions to the January 9th replies, basically, if any, to the non-party motions to seal that were due on January 4th. Oh, I guess the January 4th instead of the January 9th. Well, I guess I'm not sure exactly how much of a difference that makes. We all understand exactly what phase we're in right now, guys. I keep telling you, this is the last phase of the lawsuit. And right now, it's really going to start changing quickly. Again, there's a very good chance that the judge is making the decision on this in a couple of months, but it could be before the end of March. Now, if you start thinking about it, we've been waiting for such a ridiculously long amount of time, but it could literally be the final stretch right now. Almost every single thing that we've been waiting for is being figured out right now by the judge. She's literally making a decision. Can Ripple lose, I should add? Yes, they can. Can Ripple basically come to a draw? Yes. And can Ripple win? Certainly. I've talked multiple times about the probabilities behind everything, but it kind of depends on what exactly you call a win. I personally like to think anything is a win if people look at the XRP price and think, yeah, I should definitely, or look at XRP and think, yeah, I should buy that now. It's better than it was before the lawsuit started. And I think the main purpose of that is, or the main part of that is going to be whether or not XRP's future sales are considered security offerings or not, and whether or not XRP itself is seen by the judge and by the people, I guess, as a security as of that point. As long as those two boxes are ticked off with a victory for Ripple, even if they have to pay a fine for all the past sales and yada, 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 I still think it's a major victory, and XRP will still do extremely well. But, as I've said before, regarding how much it's going to pump, it depends on the market conditions. Right now, there's so much fear regarding FTX. There's so much fear regarding Binance. There's so much fear going around. People are not as excited to buy massively as they were a couple months ago. And also, people are not so overzealous for crazy 1000x gains as we had a couple months ago in the big bull market. So, what is the probability of like a 20x or so on the day we settle? It depends on how Bitcoin and crypto is looking at that specific point. If all of a sudden crypto does really, really well in that little time frame, well, then there's a very high probability we're going to see an astronomical rise. But I'm being very realistic that one of the better ways to make a crazy amount of gains are on platforms that I have links for down below, like Bybit and Binance and BitGet and whatnot, where you can actually just trade these cryptos, and specifically here XRP, because potentially with some leverage we can make more advantage out of all of this with a couple of conditional points. But to not stray too far away from the topic, things are ending rather quickly. I'm preparing by buying the most amount of XRP that I possibly can. Keep it in the mind, though, keep it in the back of my head, that they could, of course, have a loss. I'm not expecting it, otherwise I wouldn't have so much XRP, but it could happen. So I'm not putting all my money into one crypto. It's not smart. It's not a good idea, in my opinion, but I'm buying a freaking ton of it because, in my opinion, money is there to be spent on something, and I think the best thing to spend it on is another investment. If I lose it, that's tough luck, but if it does end up winning, it's going to be freaking amazing. And for a lot of people, it's going to be a life-changing opportunity, which is why I'm thinking, like, I just have to try it. We just have to go for it because all odds are looking in Ripple's favor. And so, yeah, I put my money where my mouth is. A lot of money is in XRP. We're riding on this one, and I think it's going to be absolutely freaking fantastic because it looks as if they're just going to slam out win. This judge is not as stupid as some other ones. I think I can say that. So I think things are just going to be insane soon. But yeah, that's it. Guys, hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you guys again in another one later today or tomorrow.